Welcome back to Let's Play Katawa Shoujo. I'm gonna start this part off very randomly. Right, this right here. It's not properly on screen. Yeah, move it a bit. Move it. That'll do. See this right here? This is the point in time that I'm recording, essentially. I'm recording on the 25th. I haven't uploaded this part, but I'm using this as a reference point here. If I keep my upload schedule on my other channel, right? It's like, you got part 48, 37, 35, 49, 49, 38, 36, 50, 50, 59, 37, 51, 51, 40, 38, 52, 52, 41, and 39. What's this all about? It's about the freaking New Year video that I do every year. And I'm trying to work out how my schedule is gonna be, so which clips I can use. And it's stressing me out a bit, to be honest. Just like, I think I'll take a break from uploading for Katawa Shoujo. Because look at this, man. Like, you see all these? Like, now picture in between each of these parts, like the day-wise, 26th, 28th, 30th, you know, you get the idea, would be upload for this. So within that time, this LP would way long be completed by the end of the year. And the thing is, it's kind of stressful for me, because like there's the editing as well as the recording, you know? And it's always kind of a melancholic feeling whenever I complete an LP, which is weird, because I've only literally completed 2 LPs this year. And you know the insane thing is, out of all these parts here that'd be uploaded by the end of the year, only the Sims Busting Out would run out of recordings. Because I've recorded up to part 52, literally on the spot there, 52. And then part 53, I'd guess, if the upload schedule is the same, would be on the 2nd of January next year. How about that? It just bugs me, man. As for the Katawa Shoujo LP, like, using clips in the New Year video, I'll probably just keep it simple. But I also want to, you know, play the melodies from the visual novel on guitar and stuff like that, you know? And so I want to, like, have a decent few minutes at least of clips from that, without any spoilers. Unlike these ones, which will probably have a ton of spoilers in it. I've already, like, done most of the ones for Parasite Eve 2. This is the main reason I put this together, because, like, wait, I've recorded, like, 43 parts, and, it was like, which clips can I use? And it's up to part 39, so like, okay, fair enough. I'm up to parts, I can't even remember how many parts, it's more than that. Final Fantasy, over 60 parts so far. So out of those, it's just the Sims, really. But anyways, yeah. Also, my anxiety was acting up a few days ago, and it's still kind of lingering there, so that's another reason. It's because, like, when it comes to the final part, like, I actually do some editing, you know? I do the After LP Talk stuff and all that. I mean, it's not all that bad, but just, like, thinking of everything, just my mind is just, it's just so stressful. And the fact that I will be 25 years old in, like, what, less than a week now? Well, when this is uploaded, I don't even know. It'd be, well, probably still be less than a week. It wouldn't be on my birthday, but my god, that's a quarter of a century, man. I mean, just like people older, I'd be like, oh, that's nothing, wait till you get to 40 or something. Just like, but so that, and you know, I was stressed over this, like, oh, I gotta get recordings done for loads of LPs and I have to freaking complete, like, conclusion of the LPs, but realistically, only this one would probably have a conclusion before the new year, you know? But still, after this part, I'm going to this part, essentially, uploading for this will be put on hold until I've completed all the recording and editing for the rest of the LP, essentially. Okay, with that out of the way, let's do a bit of recording. But no, it's not farewell, it's this one we gotta load, because we did the neutral ending, didn't we? Which was, well, I suppose it adds to my kind of mood, I guess, doesn't it? It's like, that was very, well, it wasn't the most depressing ending, but it was pretty sad and melancholic, you know. Anyway, let's mention the letter. You know what, for old time's sake, a moment. I mean, there's no point in doing how I just did that, because there'd be off-screen in it. I just, like, got the walkthrough up, because just, like, why not, even though I know what choice to make. I just always have it up in the background, you know? The memory of that single letter Iwanako sent me comes to my mind. I never saw her again, but after I was sent to Iwanako, she wrote me one letter. Lily's face shows an expression I know well. I've piqued her interest. I'd be slightly offended that it's simply a matter of curiosity for her, but she's never been very good at masking her reactions. No, it'd be a pain in the ass as if this part right here ends up being the final part. I'd be like, what the hell, man? The rap went by too fast suddenly. In hindsight, it really didn't say much. What was going on in my old class, how she was faring, and almost as an afterthought, that it was probably best for the both of us that we don't see each other again. Oh, I get it. I get how this is going to influence Lily's decision. That wording right there, isn't it? Just like you said, we should probably, you know, never see each other again, not meet up or anything. After reading it, I ended up reassessing a lot of things I thought I'd managed to work out. For the most part, that letter reminded me that the world around me was still moving and just how much I'd become isolated from it. I guess it'll also remind me of what I'd lost. She gives the information some thought before her face lights up in realization. No doubt she's worked out that it was this letter which had contributed to my angst during that lunch on the rooftop. It's a rare sight to see Lily quite so lost for words. Her entire persona is a little deflated from her earlier rapt interest. As charismatic as she is, in the end, that isn't any replacement for a lifelong relationship experience. Perhaps it's better she sent it than not. How's that? It can be difficult to work out how best to communicate with those who you haven't met in a long time. All the more so considering your separate situations. Instead of doing what was easiest, she built up the courage to talk to you one last time. Not only for her sake, but from how it sounds, for yours as well. Maybe. I don't hate her for it. Not that I really ever did, but I don't know. Probably a more non-committal answer than I should give, but it isn't without cause. I've never looked at the situation from Iwanako's perspective like that before. Seconds pass in silence before Lily speaks again. Has he ever looked at it from that perspective in any of the other routes? You know what's ridiculous is, like, how many parts has this been? No, I can't even, well, I could, technically. Let's see here. I played part 48 yesterday. It's still part 49, so this will be part 50, actually. It's just like, usually I, like, wait till I've uploaded all the parts and then, you know, work on another part, unlike the other ones. So that's 150 parts. And again, go back to this. Just like, I started LP in The Sims Bustin' Out and Final Fantasy X at the end of, near the end of December last year. Although, to be fair, I started Katawa Shoujo on the 1st of January this year. And I uploaded a lot more regularly than these LPs, obviously, because these LPs, like, go in an order where it's like Sims, Final Fantasy, then Pokemon, and now Parasite Eve 2. That's exceeded all expectations, and somehow is going to be going into the new year. It's just like, that was supposed to just be an October LP, but it ended up going on a lot longer. I think part 38, or, yeah, it's part 38 is when I actually get the ending. Just like, if those of you, like, watching on my other channel for that LP, it's like, my god, when does he actually freaking finally beat the game? It's part 38. Part 39 and onwards is, like, going through this replay mode and going for the second ending, essentially. So that's taken a while, you know. And this one was introduced, like, maybe in February or March or something like that. I can't remember. So that one's a little behind part-wise compared to the other ones, but whatever. It's just kind of weird. You look at these, just like, by the end of the year, just barely over 50 parts. While this LP is like part 150 right here. That's ridiculous. Although, it's... I mean, imagine if I only uploaded the same as I did with the other ones. This LP would take forever. I mean, it's already taken a year. And that's probably partially due to my rambling all the time. Seconds pass in silence before Lilly speaks again. Moving to Iwanako must have been hard for you, having your friends and even your girlfriend taken from you for no fault of your own. Worst of it, past while I was in hospital. What? A moment. What the hell is with this freaking katana thing? That's probably not how it's pronounced. It's just like, I don't know. Rudely interrupt me. What are you, Toshiba? I was like recently browsing through some of my old videos. Back in the day when I had a Toshiba laptop, it would always do that. It just like pop up, or like the HP thing would just pop up, and it's just like I was watching like one part of my, well, browsing through rather than watching it all the way through. Part of my Final Fantasy 9 LP, which is years old at this point. I don't even know which laptop I record that on. But I was fighting Ozma, the super optional boss, the strongest boss in the game. And it kept playing up. Fraps was like not cooperating, and then that took it out of the game with the HP, and it was like, God damn it, I'm in the middle of the freaking toughest freaking boss in the game! Why now? Made it all the more frustrating. But whatever, anyways, the worst of it past while I was in hospital, lying all that surrounds you is 4 white walls and a small television. Your mind takes on a life of its own. It's like my old school, I guess. I just try not to dwell on what's happened and keep thinking ahead. All that reminiscing does is get me down, and it's largely thanks to you that it feels like things are finally getting back on track. That's pleasing to hear, Sal. She lowers her face slightly, her expression pensive. I guess I went too far and embarrassed her. I suppose you went through something a bit like what I did when you entered Iwanako anyway, right? I imagine the vast majority of our school students did, after all. You said yourself that you made friends in your old school. I can't imagine many followed you. Lily's deep smile drops, her expression unexpectedly darkening. Even her hands retreat to her lap. We've already seen this, haven't we? After a long while, she speaks. So, can you promise not to tell anyone else what I'm about to... I promise. We'll go through this scene anyway. She looks slightly taken aback by my serious tone, but then relents and smiles weakly before continuing. When I moved to Iwanako, I did regret losing the friends I'd had at my other school. But there was one person whom I most regretted not seeing again. He was the reason I took up English as a future career. He? Considering she came from an all-girls school, that can't have been a schoolmate then. I rejected the confessions I'd received until then for him. Every time I improved my English skills, his praise was more treasured reward. Oh. Rejected confessions from other guys outside the school, or... I think that's what she's implying, I don't know. It's funny, isn't it? Someone like me, able to boast about the people who have set eyes on me, like someone so utterly unattainable as my tutor. This truly is the most ridiculous thing. Did you? She quickly shakes her head from side to side. I couldn't. Even then I knew it was impossible. A silence reigns over both of us. This does seem to explain her ardent focus on her future in teaching English, but I can't help thinking of her confession to me. She lost him without ever letting her feelings be known. Did she somehow fear that would happen again, but with me? I don't really know what to make of it. I've heard of such relationships before. Taboos born of such things as puberty and youth. The fact that she had the good judgment not to act on it, though, is heartening. I know this must sound strange, but please, don't think of me. Why would I think any less of you for that? To be honest, I think he must have been a very nice person if you liked him so much. Not only that, but you stopped yourself before going too far. For a moment she looks somewhat lost, most unexpectedly though. It isn't a second before she starts to laugh. The sound takes me off guard. It's not a giggle nor a strained chuckle, but honest and genuine laughter. I find myself smiling, and not just at her display of relief and happiness, but for her to trust me enough to let me see this most private of secrets. Before I realize it, I feel her palm touching my face, her touch as gentle as ever, with her thumb slowly stroking my cheek. You're kind, Hisao. I really do love you. Seeing her face like this with her palm gently caressing my face, I think tonight has been a wonderful night. I guess we both had pretty weird past, eh?
I think by most standards, our present is odd as well.
I smile and hang my head. This woman can easily run rings around me. Of that I'm quite sure. I look back around the room with its continuing quiet hum of patrons. That reminds me when I was trying to sleep, because it's always when I'm trying to sleep that my mind decides to wake up. It's always awake, really, but it goes into freaking overdrive whenever I'm freaking trying to sleep. Not all the time. Usually I'll just be trying to sleep. It's because, I suppose, it's one of those times where you're not really doing anything, so your mind just, like, homes in on things, you know? You just think. Unless you're, like, so exhausted you can't even think. Although, even when I'm exhausted, my mind still finds a way to get around that. It's like, no, let's debate about things. Let's think about a bunch of things, shall we? But anyway, it's kind of on subject-ish. I was thinking, it's like, if you had to choose any character, like literally any character from Katawa Shoujo, it doesn't matter if it's the main characters, side characters, or even the character like Muto or the nurse or that art guy or his like friend, you know, any character in general, I mean, just like, which one of those characters would you rather live in the same house with? And it's like, I have no idea. Then I thought the old, you know, question where it's like, if you were stranded on an island, which character would you prefer to have with you? And I was like, strangely, Kenji. So like, why? Well, because he's like, got this paranoia about him that's like, seemed like he'd be overly prepared for stuff. So in that, maybe he'd be useful in such a scenario. But then again, I was like also thinking, this is just how my mind works when I'm trying to sleep. It's like, god damn it, mind. You don't need to expand on this shit. I'm trying to sleep. But it was expanding on it in my mind. Like, but then again, Kenji might, you know, end up being like, just change of tone there. Just like, no, every man for himself, man. And then you'd be screwed. Or maybe just like, I don't know. Just like, I mean, if you're stranded on an island, what character from this visual novel would, you know, be of the most use in such a scenario? It's like Kenji for the survival thing, but you can never tell him. He's kind of a bit unpredictable. Then I thought maybe Shizune, because she's like really well organized kind of person and seems, you know, pretty intelligent. But at the same time, she'd probably work you to death. Even if you throw Misha in there, she's still gonna work you to death. It's just like Misha would be there for morale. It's just like her cheerfulness would somehow keep you sane. Maybe just like, Shizune, I know this is a tough situation, but god damn it, so much work. You're putting us through too much hell here. Just like, forget it, bring Kenji back. Just like, I don't know, random scenario that is, isn't it? And then just like think, what about the nurse or Muto or something like that? Just like, how knowledgeable are they? Do they have survival skills as well? Who knows? It's just one of those bizarre scenarios to think of. But yeah, anyways, back to plot. This place probably fits into the odd category who. This is a tad overbearing. My voice just went a bit weird there. It always does when doing her voice anyway. That's one word for it, yes. I got the eye of a scurrying waiter. A short, scrawny guy no older than 20. Kinda reminds me of Kenji. Speak of the devil! I was just talking about him, wasn't I? Though unlike him, the waiter isn't dressed for winter during midsummer. After a curt bow and, you know, speaking of Kenji, I think it was the previous part of the Pokemon LP that I recorded the other day, which, by the way, was when I noticed the anxiety slowly creeping in, so it's just like, but, like, I'd, like, purified one of the shadow Pokemon in that game, right? And I couldn't think of a nickname for it, but I had a nickname in mind for it, but I didn't remember it at the time of recording. So when I was editing and I'd remembered it, I just threw in an image of Kenji just popping up on the screen randomly, because it's just like, no, that's who I was gonna name that one after. What Pokemon do you think I was gonna name Kenji after? Executor. I don't know why, because it's kind of goofy, weird looking Pokemon, and it's like, Kenji. Why not? but I didn't name it that. I might at some point, if I remember to when I play the game and go to the nickname rater thing, I don't know. You just be like, oh, that's a fantastic name! Anyway, after a curt bow and an offer to remove our plates, Lily asked for the bill politely and softly. With expert coordination, he maneuvers around the table with our plates in hand to retrieve our bill. In no time, he reappears through the doors, smartly handing our bill to Lily, who promptly hands it to me, causing him to raise an eyebrow. As I read the small computer-printed leaflet, the cost is considerably more than I expected. Hisao. Oh, I quickly stammer out the amounts, to which Lily immediately nods and reaches for her purse.
They call to the waiter, he disappears once again.
That was, disproportionately a large amount of money. The statement seems to make Lily slightly uncomfortable. My family leaves me more than enough for my education. The same goes for my sister, though. She dislikes being reminded of that fact. That said, I too dislike throwing money about, but it's one time I think I can make an exception just for you. Not only did you choose our date, but you paid for both of us as well. I'll take the bridge of my nose in my fingers. I can't believe how high you've set the bar for our next date. Which was at the Shanghai, if you recall, if that really was the next date. And he certainly did not get to that bar, did he? She gives a small giggle. I'll be looking forward to it, Hisao. The waiter reappears beside us as if by magic and hands Lily's card back to her, evidently picking up on her lack of sight. He places the card in her hand with an extra, perhaps unneeded, amount of firmness to make sure of her grip. Believing he exercises a measure of mercy by keeping a neutral face despite my own expression. Clapping my hands together, I sit in order to bring an end to our night out. Shall we off then, milady? It's like, what do you go for? It's just like, I can feel it, man. This is why I don't like to talk about my anxiety, because it's like, it jinxes it, because now my anxiety is like starting to slowly creep in. It's like, I don't know, just like picture like a shadowy hand just like, I know I'm just sort of silly describing it, but I freaking hate anxiety so much. It's just like, whenever it hits, it usually hits hard, and I hate that. It's like, I remember having a guitar lesson the other day, and like, I was randomly like, you know, the, let's see here. I was like, going back to this. No. Because I was like thinking, is that an example of a flat 5? And I like listened to the track and there was like a droning kind of F note, so that would make it a flat 5, I'd imagine. And he randomly pointed out that it's probably the Japanese scale, or Kumoi, I think it was called. And for some reason, yeah, I thought it was the Hiroshi scale, which is another Japanese scale, but technically it can't be. It could be with this. But it could also be the Kumoi one, but it's when it does this that it becomes obvious it can't be the Hiroshi one, because it doesn't have this note. Like, Hiroshi is like... I think this string is out of tune, because it really bugs me with that sound. And the other one, how'd the other one go? No. I can't remember if it's this bit or this. Either way it goes, the scales are different. And he's just like going over there, and then he just got out this massive ass book of scales, just going through them, and meanwhile, my anxiety's just acting up. I'm just like, can we get to playing the guitar, man? I really need to take my mind off this shit. So yeah. And again, I don't like talking about it, because it just freaking makes you think about it then, doesn't it? So anyway. Ah! I snap outwards of my sheets and sit bolt upright in bed as if an electric shock had just ran through my entire body. Then he realizes that he was sleeping on top of a, try to think of a small electric Pokemon. Just thinking of Voltorb for some reason, or an Electrode, but that'd be worse. It would use, like, explosion or something. It's like, The night air feels cold against my sweat on my bare skin, my breathing short and rugged, nearly to the point of hyperventilation. God damn! Just like, we go into this scene, and I'm rambling on about that shit. Mind racing, yes, check. I bring my hand to my head in an attempt to soothe my body's panic state. It takes me a number of seconds to realize my hand is shaking violently, even as I press it against my face. With me, it was my teeth when anxiety hits. It's horrible. But also, like, your body does kind of get all shaky. Again, I don't like to talk about it, but with anxiety, it really is. It feels like you're in danger, like you're about to die. It's horrible. And, like, no matter how you try to rationalize in your mind, it's like your brain is saying, nope, fuck you, man. I don't give a fuck. It's horrible. More seconds pass in complete silence. My desperate attempts to subdue my body and mind slowly, effectively working. Gathering myself, I start thinking of the state I'm in. It feels like I've run a marathon, every muscle feeling tense and sweat practically pouring off me. I carefully direct my attention to the beating in my chest, measuring out the rhythm in my head. Sure enough, my unreliable heart is functioning properly for once. Just what the hell was that? Heart attack? A bad nightmare? Medicine side effects? I've heard about panic attacks. This does seem to have the hallmarks of one. Shouldn't we change the subject, Hisao? I can't be bothered thinking about it right now. I feel utterly exhausted yet completely awake after this experience. Pardon me. Looking to the other side of my bed, the pale white of the silent figure's face almost glowing in the nighttime darkness of the room. The sight of her is enough to calm me down significantly. Her graceful demeanor persists even while she's asleep, her perfectly measured breathing and gentle face making it impossible to tell whether she's awake or truly sleeping. Given in to temptation, I delicately run my fingertips over her hands. Her skin is soft to the touch, as it always has been, yet warm even in the cold nights. It's at times like this, silently appreciating each other's presence, that I feel we're closest. My fingers stop at her wrist, and I bring my hand back down to the bed beside me. I'm not entirely sure why, but as we become ever closer to each other, it felt as if something grew between us. I'm not entirely sure what it is, nor whether it existed before we'd fallen in love. Everything is moving so fast. I don't mind it at all, but it feels unlike Lilly to be pushing things this much. Thankfully, there aren't any students mining around in the hallways at this hour of the morning, else I'd be interrogated on why I am carrying 2 plates of breakfast to my room while dressed in an obviously hastily donned uniform. What the fuck was that? Was that like... sounded like freaking Nico from freaking Grand Theft Auto there. What the hell was that voice all about? That isn't to say things like this never happened before. A single security guard patrolling between 2 sets of bedrooms, situated right next to each other, is a very small force compared to adolescent hormones. I mean, imagine doing a visual novel LP with that voice. It's like, what? Nico playing a visual novel? No. Gotta think, mate, the fact that it's Monday morning probably helps. I'm not really sure why, but Mondays seem to bother me less than they do most others. Takes a little creative use of my hands on elbows, but eventually I managed to work the door to my dormitory room alone. Stepping inside, I see Lilly just getting up from the bed and hardly rubbing her eyes. She looks a mess, just like most other times I've seen her soon after she wakes. She really isn't a morning person. Sorry, I didn't mean to wake you. She groggily shakes her head. The morning light illuminating her makes for a very pleasant sight.
It's okay, I needed to get up anyway. What time is it?
It's about, well, it's almost 4 in the afternoon, but not in the visual novel. I put my plate down on my desk and turned the clock around to check the time. Still early, don't worry, there's plenty of time left before school. She sits on the side of the bed and begins to sniff the air. As she does so, I quickly move her plate away and put it on the desk beside mine. Yes, I got some breakfast. Shower and clothes come first, though. She stands still for a moment with her chin pointed slightly out. I gladly acquiesce and press my lips to hers, saving the soft feeling before breaking off. That word is probably going to become a part of my vocabulary the amount of times he freaking uses that word in his mind. With a small, sweet smile, apparently quite satisfied, she slowly makes her way to the showers. I stretch to try and wake myself up a little more, briefly looking at the stream. I'm streaming. Imagine that. It's like, oh, those dishes are on the desk. They're streaming Let's Plays on Twitch or something. I don't know. Steaming dishes on the desk. Rice, fish, miso soup, and some vegetables. I didn't even pause for the full stop there, but that happened a lot. A standard breakfast for a somewhat unusual day. I grab the bottles from my desk and start taking my daily regimen of pills. Sometimes I wonder what these things are even good for, given all the troubles I've had since the initial accident. I can't even say that it doesn't hurt to take them, considering the side effects so far. Yeah, it's just like... Well, that's kind of, that's like... Just like, I don't see what good they're for, but the times he hasn't taken them, it's been pretty bad, isn't it? Remember in Hokkaido, that instant? He just kind of collapsed. Just like, they are doing you the good, man. That's what they're for. Well, wherever doctor's orders are that I have to take them, and rationality suggests that I'd be well served to trust the judgment of mine. Also, rationality would point out, Hisao, that you should frickin' see the nurse about your recent, thing. Which he totally doesn't. If he does, it happens off screen, I suppose. It doesn't take long for the noise of the shower to cease. A quick one apparently being fine for Lilly given the circumstances. Emerging from the bathroom, she looks significantly more awake, given having had the chance to collect herself. How does she dry her hair anyway, seriously? Or wash her entire hair? It takes me forever, and I've got longish hair, but it's nothing compared to her hair. It's like just barely, well, sort of just barely past shoulder length, you know? A bit past shoulder length. Like, a couple of years back, it used to be even longer than that. Without a word, I gently take her hand in mine and guide her to my desk. Considering I don't have a table in my room as she does, it'll have to do.
Thank you, Hisao. What did you prepare for breakfast?
Oh, for time. It's just like random. You know, I might as well go for a long-ish part. Just rice and some vegetables, something fast. The face lights up at the revelation. My legs ache. That is the revelation. I should really just like, well, my laptop. Not my laptop, I mean my desk. They're all stuff scattered across it, but man, it'd be so much easier to record there. Except I'm just too lazy for that, I guess. To just simply move the stuff, well, there's stuff on the chair as well. Well, whatever.
That's quite a breakfast. This is normal for you.
Oh, she's just being nice. I have little doubt, considering her past, that this isn't exactly a high-class meal by her standards. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Just because we're students doesn't mean we can take it lightly. And again, I must say, I don't tend to have breakfast very often. That's my belief anyway, from what others I've talked to have said. I might be in the minority. One thing I should really do is try to keep a consistent freaking sleeping pattern, because like every week it seems my sleeping pattern goes out of sync at some point. I think that might have something to do with my recent feeling like crap as well. I take a seat on the side of my bed and begin eating together with Lilly, her chopsticks slightly tapping at the outlines of the vegetables just as I notice her doing it.
It's quite nice, Hisao. I had no idea you could cook this well.
This time she's much more genuine, I can tell that much. That said, cooking really isn't anything special at all. After a bit of practice, it's pretty easy to make a simple dish. What are you, Bob Ross of... Bob Ross? Bob Ross of cooking, Hisao? Just like... It's just... Talent is a pursuit of interest. It's like... practice and all that. And you know, it's true. It's just like... when I like guitar and all that, when I first picked it up, I couldn't play with shit. I was like, I can't even remember how I was like. I just remembered. I don't remember the year, but my sister got a guitar for Christmas one year that she never even played. I spent a lot of that day just strumming, just going. Just like, how obnoxious would that be? That's all I did. And like, I do like really simple stuff all the time, just like. I just be like, oh yeah, ain't that awesome? No, it isn't now. I can't even remember why I did, because this was way before I learned scales. So my playing must have been chaotic. It must have just been like something like, you know, just like, I can play really fast, but it sounds like trash because I'm not playing it properly. Nowadays, it's more of like, I think my guitar's out of tune, but you get the idea. More kind of balanced, because now actually no scales and shit like that and chords. Many chords. It's surprising me how many chords I know now. Although I've tried, like, just, I tend to come across like random chords, like ones with alternative bass notes and just weird chords, like, trying to think of a weird chord I know. It's just like, it's just weird, like you got chords that just be like something like, say like, I don't know, trying to think of an odd one, maybe like some, the name like A sus2 add flat 9 or something like that, just weird names, or a sharp 9, or 11, or 13, just weird. And then there's like, actually, that's the weirdest one I probably know, is this. That's probably, my guitar's out of tune, so it probably doesn't sound right, but I like it. It's like one of the songs I wrote, but haven't actually recorded, because I don't know how to go about it. Inspired by Iwanako, so it has a kind of darkish sound to it. It's apparently a major minor chord. So it's both types of chords in one. I don't quite understand how that works. So yeah, chords are confusing. Anyway, most of the credit goes to modern technology. Still, after years of cooking for myself, I should hope so. I got bored of eating instant noodles and ordering pizza every time my parents were both working, so I taught myself how to make a few meals. Still trying to get the knack of it, though.
You'll make a good wife someday, Hisao.
I take a grain of rice and place it onto my thumb before carefully taking aim and giving it a good flick. It jumps a little as it hits her cheek, right on target. I can't help chuckling a little at her expense as she lowers her brow and tries her best to assume a harsh and serious expression.
Oh, that's right.
What is it?
Did you have any problem sleeping last night? You seemed restless.
So she was awake back then, or at least partially so. Whether it was my heart or a nightmare caused by the side effects of my medicine, the last thing I want is for her to be worrying about me more. Even before my relationship with Lilly, I'd felt my body was a drag on everything I did. But my body is my burden alone, so as long as I'm with her, I'll continue to act as normally as possible. You know, I just realized, while it's getting darkish outside, it's still kind of light outside. It's like, today, like, I got up at like, maybe 2-ish. I'd originally woke up at like, probably 11-ish or something like that, I don't know. I was like, okay, let's go to the gym, but I didn't have the energy, and then by the time I was like, okay, maybe, it was like, nearly 3, and I was like, oh, it'd be freaking pitch dark by that time, wouldn't it? By the time I get home. But no, technically, I probably could have just gone to the gym. But seriously, man, it's like, that's the thing, really, isn't it? It says, like, round about winter, it's like, the days are shorter, nights are longer, all that shit. So, that's probably another reason, isn't it? Is it called seasonal anxiety? Maybe that adds into it as well. It's like when the seasons change, you know, the weather changes, and the day changes in general, so it's like longer nights, shorter days. And it's very disorientating. Anyways, even before my relationship with Lilly, I felt my body was a drag. Oh, not particularly. After that.
That's so. That's good then.
Take it seriously, man, even though we've seen the scene before. Luckily, she seems to take me at my word.
Come to think of it, there was something else I wanted to ask.
Oh?
How should I put it? When you dream, do you see people and objects?
Yes, of course I feel more than a little sheepish for that slip of the tongue. However earnest it may be, Lily looks...
But you don't taste, feel, nor smell things.
I moved to answer, but find myself stuck before thinking about it. The more I mull it over, the more I realize that our hypothesis is correct. That's true, I guess. I never looked at it that way. You saying that you do?
For the most part, I only hear in dreams, but yes, sometimes I touch and smell things as well. I'm just asking since Sakura put it very strange that I did when I brought it up with her. If you don't either, then maybe it's due to my blindness.
That would make sense. You rely on your other senses more than me, so maybe that affects your dreams as well. The wonders of the human body, I guess. For the rest of the time before school, we quietly eat the hearty breakfast in front of us, exchanging a few small pieces of small talk as we do. Our quick peek out of the door shows nobody's looking directly at the entrance for the boys' dormitory, so we walk with the path clear. Ah, the weather's good today. Yeah, the weather does seem decent outside, although I haven't stepped outside today. I imagine it'd be like, oh, it's like, clear skies. We don't get that all that often. Step outside, oh, winds, of course, it would be winds. I stretch as Lily and I make our way outside, the bright morning sun beaming down on us. By now, a few students can be seen doing the same, making their way to the main school building, either from the dorms or through the main gate.
It does feel nice and warm.
Probably doesn't outside, it's bloody, well, it's nearly winter now. Our hands linked and hurricane tapping the ground, we begin in earnest our trip to the school building and join the chatting throngs of students around us.
This will be the last year of exams, though.
Yeah, how are you going in them?
Fairly well, all things considered. You seem a bit stressed by them, though.
It's that obvious, huh? I don't think it's just the exams, though. A lot of stuff's been happening in a short amount of time, and I'm not doing that well on the humanities subjects.
You're doing well in science, though, aren't you?
Well, it'd be hard not to do well in science for me. Come to think of it, didn't you say before that you weren't very good at science and maths? She said it looked very sheepish, my remark no doubt hitting home. The sense of pride really can be a double-edged sword.
Well, aside from that, have you ever given thought to what you might do with that ability? It seems a pity to waste it.
A bit, mostly at bit of prompting. In any case, I'll probably end up doing science as a career in some form.
That's good to hear, Hisao.
As we enter the garden, I suddenly receive an unsolicited pat on the back. The green dress culprit dances around to meet me, evidently not paying any heed to Lily at my side. With that description, I just think it bloody tingle. Just like, get out of here! You're in the wrong freaking... Well, I can't even say series, because Katawa Shoujo isn't a series, is it? It's a visual novel. Hey man, what's up? I haven't seen you in a while. Hey, just been busy with the exams and stuff. Exams, schmams. A true Renaissance man needs no study to excel in such things. Yet he does strike me as the kind of person that does well in school, even if he has a horrible tender dragon and full-on work ethic. So I've little reason to doubt his ability. Over time. Well, at least go through this scene, I guess. To be honest, I'm a little envious of him. Between studying for exams and my time with Lily, I've had practically no time to myself. This is a bit like how Yuko feels.
Good morning, Seto. It's good to hear you're doing well.
It feels slightly odd to see Lily speaking so formally. She's come to address me more casually over the months, though I have seen her speak more formally to classmates from time to time as well. Some people never change, I guess. Not that I'd say her calm and polite manner is a bad thing. It was one of the reasons I liked being around her to begin with, after all. Can't you see to take a moment to work out who it is beside me, and probably hasn't noticed us holding hands either. I wonder if those glasses over his actually do anything. Oh, hey, Lily, good luck on your exams, too. I'll see you after school then, man. slight edge to his voice makes me think those words were meant to be rather than a casual farewell. I guess we'll have to smooth things over later. Sure, see ya. Kenji nods curtly. He moves to pass by us, but he's too busy glaring in Lily's general direction to take notice of her cane. You know, going back to that scenario, just like, if you were stuck on an island with Kenji, this is also stuff that make me question it. Just like, what if he's not paying attention and ends up doing something that ends up, like, being dangerous? I mean, this isn't necessarily dangerous, but it seems like it could be, you know, his eyesight would kind of hinder things. Just be like, hey, Kenji, do you think this fruit is, you know, good to eat? It's like, yeah, eat it, man. It's like, oh, man, Kenji, that one gave me bad diarrhea. You should have told me. What? I didn't remember that. I don't know. Before I can try to react and save the situation, Kenji trips and reflectively reaches out for a handhold. Unfortunately, said handhold turned out to be Lily's arm. Whoa! Both fall to the ground in a sprawling heap with me left, feeling rather helpless. Ah, damn, are you two okay? Kenji quickly rises back up, seemingly unfazed by the accident. No problem, man, no problem. This is nothing. My body can take much worse business. Lily lies face down on the grass in face-down defense position. She doesn't look hurt by the instant, more startled than anything. I move closer to offer my help. Are you alright, Lily? Hey, settle! Kenji offers her a hand, tentatively touching hers to let her know what he's doing. He says some odious things sometimes, but I don't think he may be a generally good person at heart. I imagine he feels pretty bad about this. To his surprise and mine, though, Lily pounds on the ground with her fist wrapped, warning. Now it's like a different kind of look at this scene after seeing the rest of her neutral ending, isn't it? Damn it! Maybe it's, I don't know. Kenji freezes entirely caught by surprise at her outburst. I'm just so shocked she never acted like this before, not even around Chizune. That face. Seemingly only now remembering that there are people around her, Lily slowly climbs to her feet. Her face as she does so makes me retreat a little. I only catch a glimpse of her expression before she turns away, but it's not something I'll forget soon. She showed plenty of annoyance during her clashes with Chizune, but this flash of anger was something else. There's no way that this is just about this petty incident. She paused for a moment before sighing and walking on ahead. I really don't know what to make of this. I'll, talk to you later, dude. See ya. Yeah, see ya. Ken just grabs the back of his head, trying to find something to say, then shrugs and walks away, giving us a wide berth. I quickly catch up to Lily. She turns her head a little to acknowledge my presence, but nothing else. I should probably scold her for lashing out like that, but I don't want to get into a shouting match with her. She's still very obviously annoyed. In the end, I keep my mouth shut and wait for her to cool down. Or off, wherever. After a quiet walk in, we eventually reach the top of the third floor stairs and the junction where we part every day. I turn to Lily before she leaves. While I do like the comfortable and warm silences we usually share, this was anything but. I don't want to leave things like this. You seem quieter than usual recently. Is anything wrong? Well, we know what it's all about now, but I wouldn't spoil it anyway, even though we've gone over that. She shakes her head almost automatically, as if to dispel any notion that I need to worry about her. It's just exams taking a toll. I'll be fine. I don't think that's the reason. I very nearly say so, but decide against it. There's no point trying to draw it out of her if she doesn't want to tell me, especially when she's in a foul mood like this. For sure, I'll see you later then. As I turn down the hall to go to my classroom, Lily's soft voice rings out from behind me. Hisao, Yeah? I'm sorry. With that, Lily makes her off down the hallway to her own classroom, her hands skating along the metal railings. I stand still and watch her until she turns into her classroom and out of sight, before going to my own classroom with a fair measure of reluctance. As usual, I'm early. Mito is fiddling with filters and papers on his desk as he prepares for the daily chatting away. My feelings about Lily haven't dissipated far from it. Her mention of my exam performance did remind me that I have my own life's journey to attend to. Thinking about it, I just realized I do generally want to pursue science in some moment and rather than certainly been to have little existence. I don't have much about it, I'm going to be able to do just science is very broad category of time. I was only mentioned earlier for my fault. I'm only on the point about before. I'm not saying it can very far with the grass. I'm going to pay this lesson attention to focus on prepared by the daily lessons and learn my practice. Good morning. It is up in the section of my committee and it's quite a replaced by a typical awkward smile. Good morning, Nakai. Can I help you? What was up with your sports announcer voice? Over time. Well, it's like, because I'm going to be taking a break from, uploading for this. So it's like 50 minutes seems reasonable. It's like, yeah, a long part and then like a break, I suppose. Till I've completed all recording and editing and all that. There's also one other thing I just remembered about the random thought I had, just like, which one of these characters would see Brawler in this situation? I just thought, another thought I had was, which character would be the most, easiest to piss off of the main characters, like girls, and the least one of them? And I was like, in order from the ones that would be most likely easy to piss off would obviously be Shizune, because she always gets pissed off at quite a lot of things, followed by Emmy, followed by Hanako, followed by Lilly, and then Rin. Rin, I would imagine, would be the hardest one to piss off, because, well, she's Rin. I mean, the only time we saw her get any bit of anger, it was more of a kind of disappointed, kind of dejected kind of anger, or something like that. With Lilly, it's like, we see her get annoyed and all that, and she does, get angry, but she tends to be good at hiding it. So really, I'm not so sure about her and Hanako on that, because Hanako did have an outburst, but for the most part, it's like, I don't know. Emmy showed quite a bit of anger in her out occasionally, and Shizune is the obvious one, isn't it? She's always getting mad at people. So yeah, what do you think would be the, out of those characters, the most easiest to piss off and the least likely to piss off? Probably the same as mine with the most and least, isn't it? It's just like, Shizune, obviously, for obvious reasons, and Rin, because obvious reasons again. She's a pretty chill person, isn't she? She's not the type to really get angry, or really get too emotive, really. She does have moments like that, but they're very rare, so it'd be least likely to actually piss her off. Although there's also the thought you could piss her off and you never even realize it at the same time. I don't know. Anyways, I'll be taking a break from uploading all that for this channel. So, I'll see you in the next part, whenever that will be, and uploading all that jazz, and all that. So, I'll see you next time, viewers. See you next time.